Ready. Check Monday, Wednesday, Friday, yeah, you know it's a go. Okay, I see they going off, but we gon' rewrite it though. That's right, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, yeah, you know it's a go. Okay, I see they going off, but we gon' rewrite it though. That's right, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, yeah, you know it's a go. Okay, I see they going off, but we gon' rewrite it though. I said Monday, Wednesday, Friday, yeah, you know it's a go. Okay, I see they going off, but we gon' rewrite it though.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the Rewriters Room. We are back. We are still and forever the men with the pen. I am 1/3 of this trio, the greatest faction, one of the greatest factions, part of the greatest faction, the A Show Network in wrestling. Armand Sadler, the Brock Lesnar of broadcasting, the John Cena of journalism, the Paul Heyman of podcasting. And the Roman Reigns of rhetoric. Oh yeah, that rhymes too. That's hard. I don't do the show.
Of rhetoric. That's tough.
That's the
alliteration. That's a good one.
Broadcasting, podcasting. It was.
I see it.
I'm not gonna lie. My guys are here though. How y'all feeling?
What's good? It's your boy Young Sean, aka Mr. CC, aka the best rapper and producer in the whole wide world. God body, because I consume healthy products and do towel curls, benevolent servant to the earth, and philanthropist. And every phrase I say is a gem like Anthony's. You could put any nigga next to me. Dope ass women gonna look at him. Hey, who the fuck is that? Who's that nigga next to? Who's that nigga next to CC? Whose man's is this? I may talk a lot, but I only got one thing to say. Love yourself and keep going. You are the world, so give all you can. Take care of your body, your people, and your land. Where my nigga Chann?
So my name is not Chann. I'm actually his identical long lost brother, Pan. This is my babyface run. I've done some good work as a heel, but I'm here to, make the kids smile and sell some toys. So what's up, it's Chann. Reporting live from the mid card. Couldn't be happier with, the break I took. Took a run on NXT 2.0. Did some repimage, had some good matches. With Idris, Nafe, and Malik Blade. Proud of those boys. I think those will be future hired guns at some point in a larger faction. I think that is written all over them. Proud of my boy. Trying to make it happen with Von Wagner. They really are, and I'm proud of them for trying. But it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
But shout out to NXT 2.0. I really like, of all the wrestling on TV, and this is the wrestling that speaks to me. I just like the fun stuff, and it's just a fun show. So shout out to fun and wrestling. It should be fun, guys. It's just for children.
I'm not gonna lie. NXT 2.0 is literally like it. That shit might put us out of a job because like when you watch that shit, it's like, yo, like I know y'all niggas is professionals, but also at the same time, like, yo, who put this shit together? This shit is wild crazy.
Yeah, bro. It'd be like, it feels like y'all are fighting every week, like the same people's getting jumped.
It's honestly reality TV. Like, it's extremely horny. It's just like extremely wacky feuds. Just some nuts characters, but I love it. I love it.
It's all characters.
This is sports entertainment, and that has the entertainment covered. It's honestly on a weekly basis. It's fell off a little bit for me. Like at one point, 2.0 was my most enjoyable weekly watch, and Raw's gotten really good. Like Raw's been great.
Raw's heated back up for sure.
Even without a proper world champion and now no tag team champions, like Raw has been fantastic, and a big part of that is Cody. Like, we missed out on a lot since we've been going. WrestleMania happened. Cody Rhodes is back, and I'll admit it. I was in the Discord like Cody was never that cool to me when he was there in the first place. I wasn't big on him from the AEW I've watched. I don't give a fuck about Cody. He's not going to be a world champion. And then you watch WrestleMania, and like we all knew he was coming. Like we all knew for like a month or two because the A Show had the scoop. Hey, but to see him appear and just to for the lights to go out and you hear wrestling has more than one royal family and you just see him rising up and like the camera angle so he really looks larger than
perfection
life. And the way that the crowd roared, the way he just like ate it up, like he like, look, man, I'm a Cody Rhodes fan. I'm a lifelong Cody Rhodes fan since April 2022. Cody is fantastic. That's been one of the most enjoyable things that I've watched ever since we've been away. Obviously the Roman being the undisputed universal champion, and like, you know, we kind of knew it was coming. It was like, oh, if they're doing this, they're not gonna have Brock win this. This is something Roman gets to claim. And you know, it's funny too. I remember we spoke around draft time or something, and I said, yo, if Roman like just creates the wild card rule for himself and just appears on Raw and SmackDown whenever, that would be lit. But they took it a step further and just made him the champion of both shows. Yep. And it's like, there is no comparable run to his run in terms of dominance at this point. Like there's no conversation to be had. He has not lost a match in almost 2 years. He's won both world titles. He's knocked off Brock Lesnar twice, John Cena, Edge twice, Daniel Bryan, a lot of the crazy superstars of today. Like, and you know, the Usos run has gotten stale to me too, but we really got to discuss the bloodline amongst these top factions in WWE now, just based off of like impact and dominance and like stats alone. Like, longest reigning universal champion, longest reigning tag team champions simultaneously. It's crazy, man.
Bro, Roman did what I have to stuff my foot in my mouth for this one or whatever. Like, I looked at the world and wrestling, you know, post the 2010s, right? Going into the 2020s or whatever, and you see the rise of social media and how the wrestlers are different people than they would have hired, you know, 20, 30 years ago or whatever, right? All these changing things. And I'm like, yo, shit can't ever be the way it used to be. Roman came back and was like, nah, you remember when there used to be a champion for 4 years? Me, nigga. I was like, yo, I'm like, yo, this nigga Roman literally came in and said, he was like, heard they wanted to bring the 80s back. That's okay with me. That's where they made me. Yeah. I was like, man, yo, so word. Yeah. I'm like, yo, you just gonna do that shit where like you have the same champion for years, nigga. Like, I had to hear about this because this used to happen before I was born. Like, I haven't seen this in my lifetime. Watch, like, me sitting down and watching wrestling. So I get to see something that my dad got to see or whatever back when, you know, he was like, you know, you could just ask him like, who's the wrestling champion? He'd be like, you know, I'm not even going to say the name because I don't respect that nigga on here. But like, you know, he was popular when he was a kid or whatever. So he would just be like, yeah, you know, he's the champion or whatever. Like, you would know those names or whatever. Like, I could go on Twitter and yeah, some people who like might be kind of semi-involved in wrestling or whatever. But like, I'm watching people who not really like, or 2 or 3 years ago wasn't really into wrestling or whatever, and they using Roman memes. Yep. I'm like, yo,
yeah, bro,
yeah, on, bro, yes. Like this shit is different. And then like you see him, he sits up on Jimmy Fallon, and the way that he presents himself and sits and like just, you know, behaves in places or whatever. It's like, yo, this nigga think he Tom Cruise. Like he really think that he like. You look at him and it's like, this motherfucker's like, yeah, I'm a star. And it's not like, and I think the amazing thing about what's happening right now is for years, and I'm happy as, I gotta say this, I'm happy as fuck for Roman or whatever, because for years, niggas was like, yeah, you that guy that's supposed to be the guy, but nigga, we don't really believe in you and shit like that, whatever. And then the fans booing him and shit and all this other shit. And now we finally get here, and this nigga is the heel of all heels, but at the same time, like the most respected and admired at the same time. So not only, and I think that's a huge difference between him being champion right now and him like bringing back, like, you know, versus like the old days, like when they would have a champion for like 3 years. Yeah. Back then, when they had a champion for like 3 years or whatever, those people would be faces usually or whatever. This guy is not the nice guy or whatever, and he's fucking champion for multiple years. Yeah. That's nuts. I have never seen this or whatever. Like, we've never seen this shit before. And not only that, this nigga is doing it while having great matches, while telling great storylines, and not only great story, like how many storylines has this nigga had, and how many of them have been like actually bad? You remember when we thought KO was like possibly going to win the championship? Them niggas sold that shit.
I wanted him to, and I still think that they could have done it, but I understand why they didn't.
And what's happening right now is what's happening right now is like you realize like this nigga's different because he's like kind of like he's like Jay or whatever, or like even like a Future in that sense, where it's just like, oh, y'all like this dope, I got more dope, I got more dope, I got more, I got more dope, whatever. He's like, oh, y'all like the feud with this nigga, watch it with this. This nigga's about to have a feud with a tag team and like split them up individually, and it's very possible that he could affect the trajectory of their tag team and he can affect potentially the last part of the run of one wrestler's career and also the start of another wrestler's career at once. And this is just one of the storylines he's had and will have. Like, this shit is stupid. Sorry, I went on for a long time, but
it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. Yeah. But yeah, so that was our catch up. We kind of, I don't want to bury the lead, but I do want to plug our Patreon. So if you are not a subscriber, make sure that you hit Patreon.com/The A Show RNC. You can catch the video of J5 and Meals' Hot Chip Challenge, one of the funniest things I've ever watched. They finally did that. You can catch spot callers. You can catch bonus content of the War Report and the A Show RNC. You can engage with us in our weekly questions and have your answers read off on the A Show. You can do a bunch of different things for a very low price, but the more you pay, the more you get. So I strongly suggest it. And I got to admit to my guys that I am about to go off script a little bit. Well, it's off a script that y'all don't have. So it's on script for me, but it's off script.
Are we shooting? Are you shoot promo right now?
I'm kind of shooting. So
oh boy,
with Patreon in mind, with us being rewriters in mind, and with us always looking to take the show to the next level, I am introducing a new segment called Before We Write. So every week, because I want to engage in these, you guys have had some incredible heart-pounding trivia battles. Money in the Bank, Elimination Chamber, we had some incredible trivia battles, but I kind of want to partake in some trivia too. So every time you all get an episode of the Rewriters Room, we will cycle through who the hosts and the competitors are. There will be 3 trivia questions, and they will be related to what our rewrite is. For this week, we'll put the whole thing up on the public channel. But moving forward, you guys will only get the first question, and there are 3 questions. So we're going to have a different winner every week. So you're going to want to pay for the Patreon so you can get the full Before We Write segment. And to give you all a taste of it, we're going to jump in. Are y'all ready, fellas?
Hell yeah. Yes.
Channing, you ready, brother?
Sierra Hotel, India, Lima.
Excellent. So these are in some way related to what our rewrite will be, a reminder. So, think of the people that you picked and think about some things that happen surrounding them. So first question, who were all of the other participants in the gauntlet match that Adam Pearce inevitably won due to bloodline interference that earned him a title shot against Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble that he obviously did not have because Kevin Owens was in the match? So you would get 1 point per participant. So, whoever answers first, if you get it right.
Shinsuke? Didn't he beat Shinsuke? That was like the last person?
Shinsuke is one of them, yes.
Kevin Owens?
Kevin Owens was not in the match.
Cesaro?
Cesaro was not in the match.
I'm going to start guessing SmackDown roster / Spice Stop.
Kofi was not in the match.
Okay. This is 2021.
The New Day was on Raw at that point.
New Day was on Raw. Oh yeah, so this would have been SmackDown. Shit, was Corbin in that?
Corbin was in the match. All right, so that's one.
Dolph Ziggler.
Dolph Ziggler was not in the match.
Was it Angel Garza?
No.
Mustafa Ali.
This is the Universal Championship, Channing. This is the Universal Championship.
Garza. I was like, damn, when he get that shot?
First and foremost, that was Shade.
Yes, it was.
I can't remember because I remember there was a time, especially during COVID, because COVID has melted my brain, where I feel like there were legitimately 5 wrestlers on SmackDown. And so I have no idea who was in it. Like, y'all had Cesaro in the main event. So I don't know. Like, it was a wild time for me. So I don't remember who was in this gauntlet match.
As soon as you started asking this question, I'm like, bro, everything from the Thunderdome is out of my brain.
I'm saying. I'm like, bro, was Braun Strowman even working at WWE? I don't even remember, dog. Like,
he was on Raw at this point.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I think especially because the Thunderdome, everything looks so similarly. It's hard to even differentiate who was on what roster.
I'm not gonna lie.
Everything was red and blue. Like, everything was just not the same color.
You know what's funny is that these niggas go to different cities and make the same set in every city. And I'm like,
gigantic
I remember
set.
this show. I remember what happened on that Monday, this Monday. Yep. But it's something about that Thunderdome that made that shit blur together. I don't know. I got COVID fault probably.
Was Jay or Jimmy in the match?
No, neither of them. Jimmy wasn't back yet.
This is for the heavyweight. This is for the Universal
the
Champion.
Universal, yes.
2021.
3 more people.
SmackDown.
You've already said Shinsuke and Corbin.
Was
Sami Zayn in this at all?
Yes, he was.
Nice.
All right,
2 more people.
Corbin.
This spiritually, I feel like Rusev should have been in this, just given the names, but I know he obviously is not. But like Sami Zayn, Shinsuke Nakamura, Baron Corbin, Rusev is like right there. Like that's his. Those are his peers. Like those are his people.
Like,
yeah. 2 more people.
Speaking of that, free my nigga Miro.
free the Redeemer, dog.
Keep him.
Fuck, was Otis in this match?
I don't know. He was not. He was not in this match.
2020. How many people left?
2 more people.
Shit. Okay.
You've already said Shinsuke Nakamura, King Corbin, Sami Zayn.
Finn Balor?
Finn Balor was not. He was still in NXT at this point. Yes.
Fuck. Who was on SmackDown at this time outside of them? Who would have also got
2 vets? These are 2
Sheamus?
WWE vets. Sheamus was not in this match. Sheamus was on Raw at this point.
Jeffrey Hardy?
Jeff Hardy was on Raw at this point, I believe.
2 vets. It wasn't Cesaro.
It was not Cesaro.
I have no idea.
I don't think I'm gonna get this.
The final 2 are Rey Mysterio and
shit,
Daniel Bryan.
That's crazy.
That nigga wasn't at AEW. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yes. All right. So currently, CC has 2 points. Channing has 1 point. The second question related to you guys' favorite person who was mentioned in the last question. Actually, you guys mentioned both these guys in the previous question. Name the stipulations. There are 3 of them of Baron Corbin and Braun Strowman's matches in 2018.
Oh shit.
Was this the dog food? No, that was Roman.
Mm-hmm. That was Roman in 2019. These matches were 2018.
This is Baron. So this is when Baron Corbin had hair. No, this is back right.
This is King Corbin.
No, this is Constable.
Okay, so this is
the Constable era.
Still,
this is like right after he got fired. They had 1 match that would determine if he would either be the permanent general manager or lose his job. And
did they have
he lost that match, but there's a specific stipulation that the match was.
Is it if he gets disqualified?
No.
Like, I don't know. Was it? No.
All right, I'm just gonna start throwing out stipulations. No DQ.
Yes.
Boom. Fucking
Falls count anywhere?
Tables match, yes. Falls count anywhere, no. There's one more stipulation.
How the fuck is there a tables match?
Because I thought about it and I'm like, between Braun Strowman and Corbin, there's a fucking tables match.
That's probably right. That is very hardcore title of them, but
you said tables match, you said no DQ, there's one more.
Steel cage?
Incorrect.
Hell in a Cell.
Not Hell in a Cell, no.
Stop it. Although he was in a Hell in a Cell match that year.
Braun was in one, yes.
Yeah, Braun was.
Never has.
Is this like a one of them like holiday ones? Like the
No. This match has its own pay-per-view.
They in Elimination Chamber together?
No.
They in the Royal Rumble together? Like, does that count?
They were actually
Extreme Rules match together.
Not
Money in the
Extreme
Bank?
Rules match.
TLC match together?
Correct. TLC. There you go. Yes.
Oh, TLC. I thought it was going to be TLC.
So they had a tables match and a TLC match.
That's what I was like. There's no way there's a tables and a TLC, but there you go.
The tables match happened on Raw too, which is crazy.
I actually, that was the one thing I remembered. I was like, one of those niggas was in a tables match specifically on Raw. I remember that because I was just like, I remember watching it. I don't remember what happened, who they were up against, but I just remember being like, I don't think this is the time for a tables match right now.
It's like tables matches are one of those things where, like, as you get older, you always feel like back in my day they did this more often, but like there was 100% chance they had way more tables when we were growing up. Like the Dudley Boys had tables out like damn near every week, bro. Yeah. Somebody was getting old ladies was getting put through tables religiously, dog. Like, but now like you barely see tables matches or people get put through tables. It's kind of wild.
Yeah, facts. Final question for this segment of Before We Write. Who won the first championship scramble matches for ECW, Raw, and SmackDown in 2008? So there are 3 answers here.
Each championship scramble matches. Triple H, did he win one of them? He won
did
Raws.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
I want to say
no, not Raws, but Triple H did
SmackDowns.
Win. Yes,
he won SmackDowns. I want to say, because I feel like I was looking at this for another one, because it's like Jericho had it, then Triple H got the very last minute or something like that. What was it? Bobby Lashley got ECWs? Was it the biggest of shows got ECWs?
No.
Was it Vincent Kennedy McMahon?
No.
Was it Edge?
No.
Who's been the ECW champion? What's his name? Not Maven.
No, not Maven. I don't know if Maven was a.
Okay, let's see. Raws. I'm going to guess Shawn Michaels?
Not Shawn Michaels, no.
John Cena?
Shawn Michaels did have a match that night at Unforgiven 2008 versus someone who participated in a championship scramble later that night.
Oh, man. Was it Randall Orton?
It was not Randall Orton.
Was it Kurt Angle?
It was not Kurt Angle. He was not in the E at this point.
Damn. Yeah. Okay. Triple H. And
yeah. So you got Triple H for SmackDown. So Raw and ECW.
Right. Oh man, Triple H being on SmackDown really threw me for a loop. 2000. Who could have won in 2000? Was it Kane?
It was not Kane.
My goodness.
I think Kane was in the match though.
Yeah, I'm it's 2008. This is like when I really watched wrestling. This was like a good time for me. So that's what I'm trying to like think of. Like, how can I not? I remember these matches. I remember thinking that the scramble idea is good. It just needed a little bit more refining. Mm-hmm. But it's like a cool idea. Was it Chris Jericho won Raws?
Chris Jericho did win Raws. Yes. All right.
Okay, so that's why I had two. That's why I had both of them names.
You guys are tied right now. So whoever gets the ECW will take this first.
Was it Paul Heyman?
No, it's not Paul Heyman.
No, that was stupid. Why did I even say that? I feel like it's a small person. Was it Rey Mysterio?
It was not Rey Mysterio. He was in the Raw one.
Okay. Who won the ECW Championship Scramble? Was it CM Punk?
It was not CM Punk. CM Punk was on Raw as the World Heavyweight Champion. He got kicked by Randy Orton that night and could not participate and defend his title in the Championship Scramble. Which is why Chris Jericho got added. After losing to Shawn Michaels in the unsanctioned match they had that night.
That's what I thought. Okay, yeah, I knew. Yeah, because they're all like all the matches are basically involved in the Championship Scramble. I remember they all kind of like bled into it. I can't even remember who was on ECW. Now I'm trying to think. It's another big person. Was it Umaga?
It was not Umaga. It's not a big person.
So it was a small person. That's right.
It's
average size person.
Yeah, we can go average size. Yeah. CC, you got nothing, bro? Oh, hello, brother. Not sure how we lost you, but welcome back. Do you have any guesses? So he got the Chris Jericho one on Raw. So this is the last point.
It's just ECW.
The winner of the ECW Championship Scramble in 2008.
Chavo Guerrero?
It was not Chavo Guerrero. Think of Extreme Championship Wrestling.
Extreme Championship Wrestling, 2008. God damn, this is like when I started to. Well, no, this is after I fell off too.
Is it Taz?
It was not Taz. Taz was I don't even think Taz was commentating at this point.
Yeah. All I can remember is the Edge spearing John Cena through that table. That's like what keeps playing through my mind.
2006.
Oh wow! Shows how old we are. Oh my goodness. To Extreme Championship Wrestling.
Extreme.
Team Extreme. Jeff Hardy, Matt Hardy?
It was
Matt
Matt
Hardy.
Hardy. It was
nice.
Matt Hardy, yeah.
Nice. Matthew.
All right.
He did because Jeff won the World Heavyweight at some point. They both were champions. They have that picture together of them holding the title. Yes.
Correct. That's that's why I said Extreme Championship Wrestling.
Yeah. There you go.
So Channing takes our first segment up before we write. And this will be a thing that you all get whenever you get an episode of Rewriters Room, and you can hear the full thing if you subscribe to our Patreon. So make sure that you subscribe. Patreon.com/CA-RNC. We kind of dabbled in some pre-writes when we were doing our catch-up earlier. So we're going to try to keep these brief. But this week's theme is just really the best and worst storylines since we took our break. Channing, we'll start with you. What is the best storyline that you have, paid attention to since we took our season break?
Well, it's really quite simple. If you ask me, that's Nikita Lyons. So she is the best storyline. This might be a controversial statement, but I think she might be the biggest WWE superstar in 5 years from now. Obviously, there are far better. I'm not saying she's the best wrestler in WWE, but I'm just trying in terms of just mainstream appeal. You can already see it. She did her first couple matches, her pin went viral. Besides Rhea Ripley, who else is doing that? And it's she has, again, the Drake thing is kind of a joke, but also if Drake is noticing you, then that means Drake's going to at some point be involved. If Drake, you might be in Drake's video, Drake might show up at a show, but the fact that this is becoming a thing is let you all know is once, it was a big deal to get Bad Bunny, obviously. Anytime there's a main event person, but if WWE could somehow get a moment with Drake, that's the biggest story. I mean, that's the most successful person in WWE at that point. At that point, you talk about mainstream fans versus wrestling fans. At that point, you jumped into oh, this is just a famous person. So I said, Nikita Lyons may not be the best wrestler in the company. If she can wrestle just 70% good, a solid C wrestler, and keeps the mainstream buzz, she'll be the most famous person. Because just based off purely social media engagement, she'll be able to move people. So I think that's one of those storylines of I think we are seeing not in terms of necessarily the wrestling pedigree, but John Cena-esque, this is a star who's about to be super famous. And it's kind of annoying because, as you can imagine, some of the stuff she's famous for is just being a thick white woman, which is kind of annoying that is what it's kind of come down to. But at numbers don't really lie at a certain point. You said, she's going viral doing everything. It sucks she got kicked out of NXT tournament, but hopefully that's a storyline thing and not, some real industry she's dealing with. But yeah, I just think that is not necessarily the best in terms of my favorite, but that is the one I am watching the most because it's this is ground floor level. You might be seeing some super popping cooking up.
I agree with you there. I think the WWE is about to find out how many people drink milk.
My brother in Christ.
I'm oh.
Okay. CC, what's the best storyline you've seen since we took our break?
I mean, maybe I'm biased because I grew up on the person, and maybe I'm biased because I feel like these were more of a thing when I was younger.
Yeah.
But Judgment Day, dude, I haven't watched a faction form in a seemingly organic way in a really long time. The last time I felt oh, I like the way I see this faction is forming or whatever was Hurt Business. Mm-hmm. And it was, but a lot of that was because, bias as shit. It was very, very black. And I was here for it. but this one, Edge comes out and he's he's playing the role of the judge. He's judging everyone because he sits at top of the mountain of wrestling. He's one of the best, or if not the best, or whatever. And not only does he say that, he's these people are also the best people as well. So it's funny because the reason why I think this is great is because it's one of the greatest sneaky ways to have a Hall of Famer co-sign some of your new stars and push them into that next level. It's amazing. What they're doing is just saying hey, Edge is basically taking what Gangrel did for him and passing it on to a couple other
Real
people.
Shit.
Right. Yeah. And that's exactly the way I see it or whatever. Because like I watched this and like Edge had the same experience. He was already in the WWE and then Gangrel came around or whatever. And then they made the faction out of it. He like joined that. And because he joined that, a bunch of goofy shit that I'm currently watching happen or whatever. But he goes on to, you know, he learns all these things or whatever because he's around all these people. Like Gangrel puts Edge next to Undertaker. Like, and then because of that, there's so much shit that he goes on to learn and do or whatever. Now, Edge gets to have matches with whoever the hell he wants to. And because of that, now you got Damian, like, you know, like this faction and the people in this faction are going to get a lot, like they're going to be marquee now or whatever. Not to say that they're going to be go off and be marquee names like after this is done, but while this is happening, they're going to get some marquee shit off. And on top of that, I just fucking love factions. I love a bunch of gang shit. And I love watching niggas like who look like they on the same page gang up or whatever. So like when you think about it, Edge was heavy on that rock star shit or whatever. Like that's his shit, is that, you know, that rocker shit. So like you could see this faction coming before it even happened or whatever. Because you look at the WWE and who matches up with that. And it's like, oh yeah, Damian Priest was on that shit. Oh yeah, Reed was on that shit or whatever. Let's pull them in or whatever. And on top of that, them niggas is good. Like they are good or whatever. And they're going to get better because they're with Edge. Like, and they're going to get better in multiple ways. They're going to get better in ring. They're going to get better on the mic. They're going to get better at character work. They're going to get better at wrapping all three of those things into one kind of like long 10, 15 minute segment and shit like that. Like, I just love all that. On top of the fact that I've never in my life sat down and watched Edge be because I missed the part where he was like really like a real asshole before. So I get to like,
it's great.
Yeah.
He's such a dick.
I get to that part. I cannot wait. Part of the reason why I'm rewatching in the first place is because I know I missed a greatness. So I'm trying to get to that with context. But bruh, when I think about this faction and like everywhere it's going to go and what it's going to do for these people's careers, and then just like being able to watch a faction now, and then also influencing other people, like showing them like, hey, you can form a faction and actually like story tell still without actually putting somebody in the background or whatever. It still works or whatever. Because when you think about how much talent WWE has, it's like, okay, it's a good proof of concept. Sorry, I'm a tech nigga, so I'm always thinking that it's a good proof of concept to go on and repeat this with other people if you need to. Like now you gotta, like you have a recipe that you can go back to or whatever. So like we've had the Hurt Business, but like recently I haven't seen anything like I've seen like with Judgment Day. And I honestly, Judgment Day is like one of those things where it's just like, I don't know. I don't see like how I can't predict it. Yeah, I think that's my favorite thing about it. Like, I don't know what's going to happen next with them. And I'm like, oh shit. And when I think back to how I was a kid, no, you good. I'm about to wrap it up. When I think back to how I was as a kid, that's exactly how the factions were. Not all the factions, but some of the factions, and specifically the Brood was. It was just like, who the fuck is these niggas going to bloodbath this week? Like, I have no idea what's going on. But yeah.
No, I would say to your point, because that's a really good point. Because I think what it is, because I was thinking about that just as you said, is that part of it is that with a lot of factions that are like two guys and a girl, it's usually like a tag team with like a manager. But with Judgment Day, it's like three single superstars who are all together. Because it almost feels like, well, shouldn't Damien and Rhea be a tag team? But it's like, well, no, like because they couldn't just have entered a tag match. But like that's, you don't know, like, oh, so like, who are they gonna like beef with this stuff? So yeah, it kind of gives this kind of, you know, you don't know where they're going. And also to your proof of concept point, like I was gonna make that point 100%. Like I swear, it's like I have like an 85% success rate of like WWE saying, but yeah, I'm gonna have one poppin' person and put them with two new people. Like it works every time. Team angle, toxic attract. Like you said, every time you take the 1-star Edge and you put them with two new people, and like every time it's cool. And obviously you can't keep doing that because it gets redundant. But like I feel like with wrestling, like to your point, I love a faction. I love Evolution, where you got Triple H, you got Randy and Batista, and then Ric Flair's over here too. But it's like that kind of concept of pop-in wrestler, two young guys. It just always is cool. It's always like, it always hits. It's like this, you know, I'm the mentor and I got these kind of young guys going underneath me. It always works. So like to your point of proof of concept, like I'm excited to see what Judgment Day does. I'm excited to see if hopefully Edge in this run, I do want to have a world title, you know, reign at some point. I think he deserves that. So hopefully this leads to him, getting one of these titles off Roman or something. But I just am with you, and like I really am excited about this faction because I was not super high on Damian Priest. Rhea had kind of, was on a downward spiral, but like this is definitely upped. I think both of their kind of stock, and just like you said, I don't know what's going to happen. And at some point, is like Rhea Ripley going to turn on Edge? Like, what do we like? How we know is this going to end? Like, there's just so much story that you have to go. That I think is really cool.
I think. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I was going to say the last point, and I didn't think about this until you just kind of pointed out how they're very like each one of them is a single superstar. I don't think I've ever seen a woman in a faction with guys, and I'm looking at her as another one of the wrestlers.
Not by DX, like China. China's the only one I could think of.
Yeah, that was the last time.
Yeah.
And even with that, they like put her in the background a lot and like had her be like a person who's on the side. Rhea is here to whoop ass, bro.
Yeah, bro. Shoulder to shoulder with some of you dudes. Like she's bigger, like than some of the male superstars.
And that's and I think that's the thing is like, I'm like, bro, like there's no limit to what Rhea can do because of like I already like I think the main thing that comes out of this is like you get like we've had this thing in the WWE for the last like I'll call it 15 years or whatever of like of watching it start or whatever because I watched it start as I wasn't watching wrestling. I could tell where it was going of trying to elevate the women and make sure they're respected and looked at as wrestlers just like everyone else. This is how you fucking do that shit.
Yep.
This is one way and I like it. But what you about to say, Armand?
Yeah, no, I was gonna say Chann made a really great point. Is like the genius of it to me is the timing of it all. Like Priest came in when he, got on the main roster, he was next to Bad Bunny. We loved him, and then Bad Bunny left and I was like, all right, we're invested. And then he got the US title and, he held it for a while, but the matches weren't all that great. And the whole character split thing was like, we're like, where is that going? And then it goes here. It goes to him aligning with Edge. Rhea, she has the title. She loses to Charlotte. She teams with Nikki Ash. She's a super baby face. Nikki Ash turns on Rhea. Rhea's like, all right, fine. I'll go team with Liv. And she just gets, flustered with Liv and the fact that they couldn't win. So she turns on Liv. It's like, damn, like Rhea's mean streak. Like, where's that going? It goes to Edge. And then we see Edge, like, after feuding with Miz and then having the mixed tag team match. And like, his Edge's babyface run since returning has been great. But it's like, I think 90% of wrestling fans love heel Edge. And we kind of saw it come out in WrestleMania when he got super obsessed with Roman and, the main event match and all that. And like, we thought he was going to turn heel and then he didn't. And then he came back and he feuded with Seth and he brought back, the Brood stuff. And so then you're like, okay, like it's this slow burn of bringing out that evil dude within him. And then, it comes out against AJ and it's like so perfect, because Finn's career is at like a weird place right now. And him aligning with AJ and then them bringing Liv in, that's a huge look for Liv. Like, I definitely have my critiques for Liv, but her being next to AJ and Finn is going to do, wonders for her as long as they get something substantial out of it. But yeah, I think the timing of the Judgment Day is the best part for all of them because they all bring their own, like, they're all popular themselves. Like, like they all bring fan bases like together. Like everybody loves Edge. Rhea's super over. Priest, we all really fuck with him. We wanted to see better for him. So it's like, here it is. So it's genius, absolutely genius. So I definitely agree. Let's get into these worst storylines so far.
Wait, did you do your best?
Well, I kind of talked. I kind of talked about it in the catch up. Cody and Roman. Cody was really it though. I just think the presentation is great, and I'm gonna talk about Cody a little bit later in the free write. But just everything they've done with Cody Rhodes so far has been fantastic to me. So these worst storylines since we've been away. What you got? We'll start with Chann.
They say they're getting rid of the middle class. They're trying to get rid of the mid card, man. They're squeezing us out. Thankfully, as I try to tell y'all, the biggest woo has come stateside. He's looking at Ricochet like, I am from a different continent, so I could therefore be your intercontinental champion. That does fall within my purview. And so that might be coming off soon. But yeah, I just think there was definitely a time, like they say, the neither title's been defended on pay-per-view since like WrestleMania of last year. Like it's very like interesting because you would think that if the mid-card titles aren't on television, then there aren't a lot of like not, main event feuds, but there really are. Like you said, like Seth and Cody is a high-level feud that just has no title involved in it. Kevin Owens and Ezekiel, no title involved in it. Omos and Bobby Lashley, no title involved in it. But Austin Theory doesn't have a Hell in a Cell match. So it's like that's the weird part we're in now. And I don't really like Austin Theory that much, honestly, but just the point of like, it's very interesting because there are these other feuds. They're just not with the mid-card champions. And so hopefully, we get some sort of like tournament or something that just kind of the open challenge just starts, picking that back up. But that's kind of been my like least favorite part. It's just like some of the mid-card stuff is just really falling off. Cause like, especially when they had it on Finn and Ricochet, it was like, okay, cool. Two good guys who can wrestle. They could have, new opponents. Ricochet's not really wrestled anyone of note. So they, new feuds to start. Same with Finn. He has those people of note, but he could have new feud start. And it just like didn't really do anything with it. So that's just kind of a weird point where I'm at. Like, I just feel like this is a wasted opportunity. And it's like, I get that the kids must love the 24/7 title because Dana Brooke is on TV all the time. Like, I get it. But I just wish, we could throw a little, just throw us a Butch Ricochet. Pete Dunne can wrestle. Pete Dunne was your longest reigning UK champion. Like, just throw it there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like they've been in a War Games match together. They probably like each other, that whole thing. So, like, I just feel like there's definitely opportunity, especially with all the NXT call-ups. Like, just like with the Kevin Owens thing, like, having an NXT person come up and, win the IC title or win the US title or face them in their first match, like, that's such an easy, like, slam dunk call-up. And hopefully we get to see some of that, with guys like Carmelo Hayes. But I just am missing that in my wrestling every week.
Yo, I think you're going to get that after we do SummerSlam. For some reason, I feel like SummerSlam is going to reset stuff for the mid-card. I just been like feeling that. Because when you brought this up, it's funny that you brought this up because I was feeling this too. And I was hoping we would talk about it. And it's like, like when you think about that, it's like, how has the IC title not been defended since, what do you say, WrestleMania of last year?
Yeah, it was like, it's been a whole year of pay-per-views. I think the last IC title match was like Sheamus's match on a pay-per-view. It was Sheamus and whoever. No, it was a US. No, Apollo Crews and Big E was the last IC title match on a pay-per-view. And then I think Sheamus had a US title match at a SummerSlam that he lost to maybe Riddle. And I think that might have been the last time the US title was on pay-per-view. But it's like, it's been a long, because think about it, like what feud has Ricochet had since IC? Like, you can't even think of feud that would even need a pay-per-view match, It's not even an issue of like.
He's been doing his fucking job too. He's been trying.
He's been working. He
be on Twitter trying to get y'all to care, trying to get y'all to call him Ricochet.
He was trying to get the nigga. He was like, shit, give me an NXT nigga. I don't care.
He was tweeting back and forth with Carmelo Hayes. I was like, I don't know if you want that, Rick. I'm not gonna front. Like in terms of mic work, in terms of in ring, you got him right now, but he's getting better.
In ring.
But mic work, Melo will cook that boy.
You don't want to see Trick Williams. Ricochet calling Ricochet a sucker. He said, "You flipping little sucker."
Yeah. CC, your worst storyline.
Oh man. I think I'm getting in trouble. I'm just gonna say it. White women can be very boring if they don't try very hard. Like, they can. And not to say like this person's not trying very hard. I'm not saying that. I think the production around this person is not trying very hard because of the name or whatever. And the name is Ronda. The worst storyline for me, and I'm glad we got a chance to talk about this, even though it's over now, but I'll talk about it now. I can't tell you how much I really didn't care about Ronda and Charlotte. Like, I don't think there's words to describe how much I didn't care about that. But the other thing I'm seeing is like, she gets it after, and then, they have Raquel, and then, she's got all this other stuff going on. And what I'm realizing is like, I was right. Like, before going into Ronda Charlotte, what I'm noticing about Ronda is her package, like the package that is Ronda, is not electrifying enough to match what her name is. Like, it's not 3 or 4 years ago anymore. Like, she's not with The Rock in the ring at WrestleMania anymore, bro. Like, it's not that time. She has to, like, now, like, at this point, all right, so here's a perfect example. I was watching it or whatever, and she was on or whatever, and they said her name or whatever. And my girl was like, ain't that the UFC girl? And she was like, yeah, whatever. But like, she was saying it in a way where she even kind of had to like remember the name Ronda Rousey. It's like, yeah, I think I know her from like blah, blah. Whereas like, if you go back 4 or 5 years ago or whatever, that was a time in the world where everybody was like very hot at the time. Her name not hot in the streets generally outside of WWE right now, fam. Okay, you cannot go off of 4 years ago, okay, anymore. Right now, she has to come in and be a wrestler, electrifying the crowd, showing people that, you know, getting people invested with her matches or whatever, getting people invested with her mic work. I like, stop lying. She's not as like, she's not killing it right now. And I don't think it's 100% her fault. I think nobody sat down with her and said like, yo, you could be a lot better or whatever. Let's just like do it. And that's not to say that she hasn't progressed, because she 100% has. Like, I'm not like, there was a time where like you tell me about a Ronda match or whatever, and I'm like, I'll skim it or whatever, because she just wasn't that good in the ring. Like, she's a lot better now. It's like her timing, her selling, which was
oh my god,
it was not good. Like, her selling is a lot better. A lot of things are a lot better or whatever, but you look at her on the mic or whatever, and I see when she gets like, she does this thing still to where she gets to the last thing that she's about to say before they're about to play their music. And I can tell it's the last thing that she's going to say before they play the music. Yeah. And I'm like, and it's funny because the reason why you're able to tell is because everything else up to that is not really compelling you. And then she's like, this is where I have to really put the fucking button on it. And boom, she like kind of delivers the line. And it's like, oh shit, why didn't you do that during the whole time that you were talking and like really put emphasis? And it's just like, oh, because she hasn't really gotten there yet. And of course, in order to get there, you have to put her through it. So like, this is her getting there. I understand that. But my thing is like, or whatever, y'all still like the view from the WWE and the perception that's being broadcasted is like, oh, it's Ronda Rousey, baddest woman, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yo, bro, when I watch, I don't see that. Like, it's just not there. So like, everything with her, like, what I would really love to see is for her to keep this title for like 3-4 months, lose it, take a break, and come back on some like fuck shit, like just like come back as an asshole.
Yeah, like, being a babyface is her downfall. I feel like, because for me, it's like my issue with Ronda is that not have an issue with Ronda, she's fine. Because like her last match with Charlotte was a perfect example. Because the actual match was good, and especially the parts at the end where she's like, "Oh, good, I wanted to break your arm." But there's something about when Ronda talks, you just like, I just don't believe you. Like, you just like, she's not threatening, but it's so funny because in real life, she is incredibly threatening. Like, she's one of the few people on this roster. Like, for example, UFC wise, she was probably better than Shayna Baszler. I think most people would agree with that. But WWE wise, how they're presented, you would think Shayna Baszler was way more dangerous. Like, Ronda does not come off as
Shayna Baszler. I'm not scared of Ronda.
I'm not gonna lie, that's always been the weirdest thing with Ronda for me, is like when she came in, you're presenting her as the baddest bitch on the planet, but she's smiling all the time. Like that was always really weird to me. The mic work, you know, you're coming from a world where you don't have to talk much, so I kind of give her some room to grow there. She really only was active for a year, then she took 3 years off. And now she's back. So I'm not expecting her to be amazing immediately. Like some people just got good at mic work. And I think the whole mythical energy surrounding her that was there in her first run, it's definitely wore off because we're just waiting for her to come back. She comes back, she wins the Rumble, and she loses at Mania, which was a weird choice. And she only really won the title at WrestleMania Backlash because Charlotte's about to get married, which is kind of weird, but I think she has to be a babyface at this point because like SmackDown really doesn't have any believable baby faces that show up to work, aka Sasha Banks.
I mean, let's that's a different subject.
Like SmackDown really doesn't have big baby faces right now. So, and like people hate Charlotte, like regardless of whether she's a tweener or a full heel, like Charlotte just gets full hate. So like with her being the top heel and champion for that period of time, if you're gonna introduce this new threat, like I understand the decision for Ronda to be a babyface, and honestly, given how much she be smiling and looking happy to be there, like I think they should lean into that for a while, because of the popularity that she carries outside of the E. I definitely agree, CC. Like she's kind of got to integrate herself a bit better into the WWE system. But the crowd still love her. Like, Quan was at WrestleMania Backlash. She was like, yo, the crowd went up for Ronda. Like, she's still a huge draw. But it's like, all right, beyond being a draw, we're only going to get as invested in you as you kind of provide us the entertainment that people who have been doing this for a while can as well. So that means having good matches, also having good mic work, promos, and just having like a character that we believe in more. I definitely think she's improved a bit on the mic from her first run, but she's definitely still got some ways to go. And it's just SmackDown is such slim pickings, bro. Like I don't know how long Charlotte's gonna be going. Maybe not long at all for a wedding, but like Ronda, Charlotte, Sasha, and Naomi are assumedly gonna be on ice for a little while. Shotzi is rising up. Raquel's there now, but SmackDown really don't got shit. Like, yo,
it's about to be NXT, bro. It's about to be NXT
bad.
1.0.
Yeah, it's like they need to bring up. They need to bring up EO.
Yeah.
They need to bring up KLR, aka whatever her name is now.
Alba Fire.
Yeah, Alba. Like the SmackDown needs men and women, to be honest. Like SmackDown needs both. SmackDown really needs both. So they're doing what they can with Ronda. I definitely want to see the Ronda Shayna feud, but that Charlotte story was not good because, and we talked about this, before we took our break. Like the Charlotte feud is the same thing. You just put in a different person. Like Charlotte's just, I'm the opportunity, I'm the queen, this, that, and the third. You're not on my level. Blah blah blah. She does underhanded stuff. She'll come in and give them the big boot during their match. Stuff like it's not different, and that's the worst part. Is like this is not Ronda's fault. She can improve, but this is not Ronda's fault.
But the thing about Charlotte is she be right though. Like she be like, y'all can't hang with me, and they really don't. Like,
but I think so.
That's what's so annoying about Charlotte.
The way you phrased it is exactly it. That was my problem with that feud. It was Charlotte's feud. Ronda's the bigger name. Why was it Charlotte's feud?
Because she was champion.
Bigger name to you. But Charlotte Flair, big dog.
Like,
Charlotte Flair, big dog.
The same thing happened on the other side. Like it's we all wanted Bianca to win, but Becky was champion, and Becky's big time Beck's dog. Like
but I felt like
she came back, got the title the day she returned in 26 seconds.
Even the whole time, I felt like that was always a Becky Bianca feud. Like the way I saw the
because it was also built up longer.
The way I look at the Ronda Charlotte thing,
that was Bianca and Becky's like fourth or fifth match at that point.
Mm-hmm. They just plugged Ronda in the same way they would have done anyone who was there, who should have been there when Charlotte was like champion. And that's my thing. It's just like if you can plug her in, that means she's not like on an island like you think she's on an island.
To your point, it's like Charlotte, you're not really the opportunity for Ronda for real. Like it's like that. That's kind of why the feud doesn't make sense. To your point, now I think it's like, I mean, we're both kind of equally like helping each other out here. Like I'm not, Ember Moon. Like let's slow down. But Ronda doesn't come with that energy. So when Ronda comes with like I'll show you, bitch. It's like, okay, well Charlotte must be right then because she is talking down to you. You're not doing nothing back.
Exactly. And this is circles back to my first point, which is that when they're not trying hard enough, just like because they think like it's just this thing that it happens in the professional life too, or whatever. If you've you'll see it or whatever. But it's just one of those things where it's just like they'll throw in a little bit of sass and be like, "Oh, bad bitch," and it's like, "No, nigga, you got to do more."
Yeah, true. 100%. I'll jump into my worst storyline. I'm not going to be long on it at all. Braun Breaker versus Joe Gacy. This feud is not good to me. Joe Gacy, I actually liked him a lot when he first came in because to me, they just took everything from wrestling Twitter that wrestling Twitter complains about and had him be the opposite of all of that and gave them more things to complain about. And I think he was acting like kind of like a mirror for them. Like people were so thrown off by his character because he was just being this like super inclusive, super weird, just like over the top kind of dude. So to shift him to this like weird, like
call it what it is.
Like puppet master with these freaking ghouls behind him, these druids kidnapping people's families. Like it's just, it was a very sharp transition. Like it was just really weird. Like he was advocating to fight for the cruiserweight title at one point, and now he's kidnapping people's family and just acting super creepy. Like, and like he was a little creepy before, but it was like weird creepy. Now it's like, oh, you're kind of like you might be like satanic, like you might like be like a devil worshiper or something. And I think for Braun is definitely a big challenge for his character. But truthfully, aside from Carmelo and Grayson Waller, I don't think there's anyone else for Braun to face on NXT. So with me, it's kind of just like a waiting game for them to call Braun up. And, you know, he still has some improvement he can make, but like, it was cool to see him in those Raw matches. Like he looked good, but like, yeah, it's kind of just like, he beat Walter, like he beat Ciampa. He's beaten so many different people. Like there's really nothing else for Braun to do. So I think that's the worst part is like, this feud, if you weren't savvy enough, it can make you look at Braun as if like he's not good, but the reality is it's just a very weird pairing for him. Like an extremely weird pairing.
I do think Braun though, like this is professional wrestling. You always need the devil, you need the Undertaker, you need the Fiend, you need Kane. Like we always need some big bad evil threat, because at a certain point with any, you know, hero story, you get through all the physical threats, now you have to get through the mental, emotional threats. So there's always going to be, you know, Batista versus the Undertaker, Triple H, or like they're always that dark force in it. To your point, the issue is that like Joey Gacy is now just doing like Bray Wyatt impressions, and it's like this isn't really what
it's like. Bray, the Undertaker.
Yeah,
it's weird.
But they also, really, I will say, NXT, I think this is one of NXT 2.0's few issues, and Mills tweeted this too, I think, is that their feuds go on too long. Like, I think because they're trying to get people in the habit of working together, they have them, and also because NXT didn't have pay-per-views every month, people will be feuding for just 3 months, and it's like, how many times do I need to see y'all wrestle, dog? And it's like, it makes the feud seem like the Joey Gacy feud should just be done. That should have been a one pay-per-view feud.
Should have been a one and done. Absolutely.
Yeah, and now they're having like multiple matches. It feels drawn out. Same with I feel about Tony D'Angelo and Escobar. It's like Santos Escobar. It's like I don't really want to see y'all wrestle no more, bro. Like I don't want
to see Tony. Period. Like he's not good to me at all.
One of his flunkies is named Channing, so I kind of have to keep watching. But that's the only thing keeping me in still.
You are compromised. Let's jump into this rapid fire free write real quick before we get into our rewrite. So I'm going to ask a question to one of you. You're going to give me a quick answer for it. So, and this kind of aligns with my catch up / pre-write portion about Cody Rhodes. Where does Cody Rhodes go after he is done with Seth Rollins? CC.
Bobby Lashley. Nah, I don't. Honestly, I don't know. I've been thinking about this ever since he debuted. You know what's funny? I've been thinking about this since he debuted at WrestleMania. Like when he came up, I'm like, all right, he's got Seth. Do
you know what the next pay-per-view is after Hell in a Cell in July?
Money in the Bank.
Money in the Bank.
Yeah,
it's gotta be. He's on the poster. It has to be, bro. That's the only thing that makes sense.
I feel like because the thing is like he can't go
down.
Right.
Yeah.
He can't go down.
Yeah.
There's not really a sideways that really makes sense. And he can't just walk up to Roman right now.
Yeah.
So like there has to be a MacGuffin, if you will, to like that leads him to wherever he goes to the next place. So yeah, I agree with you, Chann. I think it's money in it. Like he doesn't get anywhere by going to like a direct feud. It has to be like through something he wins, and now he has an opportunity. So like, yeah, Money in the Bank, probably. Yeah.
And wow, this perfectly leads. I think it perfectly leads into the question I'm gonna ask you, Channing. So, this is a 2-part question. Do the inevitable Roman versus Riddle and Roman versus Orton matches lead to the Orton versus Riddle feud? Do one of them beat Roman for one of his titles?
I think that, withstanding any like life events, like for whatever reason, I don't know why, but Roman has been giving me like summer pregnancy vibe. Like he's for real gonna like not be on TV for a while. So if something like that happens where he's just like, hey, I need a break for a month, maybe he drops a title to one of them, but I don't think so. I think that I do think that at WrestleMania, the match will be Randy versus Riddle. Like, I could definitely see a scenario where Riddle gets the match, loses, but in a very valiant effort, gets knocked out. Usos are jumping him. Randy saves him. SummerSlam matches, Randy v, Roman, whatever. But I think the breakup of them will be a slow burn because it seems like this is one of their most over tag teams ever. Like, everything you see coming out is that they wanted to break us up, but we forced our way back together. So I feel like their breakup part will have to be just as dramatic, which is to me is a WrestleMania thing. And you're not going to blow that off at, Elimination Chamber pre-show. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like they're going to really milk that. And maybe, Randy does get a title and it's for the WWE title. I kind of think, to the earlier question, I think Cody gets that. But yeah, I think they do have a WrestleMania match for sure. And I think it'll be fucking fire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I'll ask myself, who beats the Usos? I don't know, man. I really don't know who's gonna beat them, bro. I thought it was gonna be the Viking Raiders. I would like it to be the Prophets. I think that's probably gonna be the next place that they go. You think Alpha Academy is gonna beat the Usos?
Nah,
I was about to say I don't know, man. I don't know if they're gonna go that route again so soon. I think the Alpha Academy will get another reign at some point. I don't think it's gonna be right now to beat the undisputed tag team champions.
You know who I think it'll be? I think he's really about to cash in. Not cash in, but I think is like they like a lot. I think it's gonna be Kevin Owens and Ezekiel. I think they're gonna have this match, end up being friends afterwards, and then because Kevin Owens loves a best friend. He loves a buddy. Yeah. And then I think because to your point, it has to be someone who is so popping that they can match the Usos and all the other tag teams they've already beat. So I think it'll be two single superstars who come together. And immediately I saw that tweet of like Kevin Owens hasn't had a title in 5 years. And so I think a fun storyline. Also, you get Kevin and Roman running it back. Like they can do some talking and stuff too.
I think Kevin's never been a tag team champion either.
Boom.
Well, there you go. Him and Ezekiel.
The crazy thing is I was looking
Ezekiel's
at this.
Never had a title.
The men's and the women's, if you want to do anything with the tag teams, make new tag teams.
Yeah, you're saying it has to be two individuals or NXT or the Creed brothers or something. It has to be like NXT people, literally.
Creed brothers.
Bro, I've watched so much Arcade Bro, Street Profits, and Alpha Academy. Like I've watched so much of that.
Yeah, and granted, it's good, but it's a lot. It's been overkill.
It's also a lot because any feud with the Usos is tangentially a feud with Roman Reigns as well, and it's hard to see Otis and Chad Gable in the ring with Roman Reigns. Like it's hard to see.
It's impossible. I remember there was that one tag team match. I think it was Kevin Owens and Otis versus Roman and Jey Uso, and then Roman just like killed Otis with the stairs. Like he just absolutely just took him out of the match. I was like, yeah, nah, this like. Yeah, no.
It's like it doesn't even look believable. Like to have Roman Reigns be like, "Hey, I'm really worried about Chad Gable. I need you guys to win this match."
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah. But let's jump into our rewrite. So, as men who operate within the rewriters room, the writers do need to what's the word? They come up with the scripts and they provide them to the talent. And one of the most important talents on all these shows is the general managers of these shows. And so we have selected 3 different general managers and or WWE officials to rewrite their tenures on the shows. So I'm very interested in this. Let's start with, let's get the horrible one out of the way. So Constable Corbin and Channing, let's hear your rewrite, man.
The God.
I'm here for justice. What can I say? So I'll give you guys, I'm trying to get better on my dates, my historical evidence. So on August 19th, 2018, Roman Reigns wins the Universal Championship for the first time at SummerSlam against Brock Lesnar. On August 20th, 2018, Baron Corbin is named GM of Raw as a replacement for Kurt Angle. So actually a month later, this does happen in real life, is that Corbin books himself against Roman. But for my story, I'm just having to do it the next day. Roman's had this long, grueling match against Brock. First act is GM. All right, I want to face Roman. He's tired. You have the whole like white tape around the ribs. He's still got the Kevlar at this point. So it's like, really, how hurt are you? But, Constable Corbin books himself in a Universal title match in the main event. There could even be some chicanery, if you want to throw in a gauntlet match for him beforehand, really build up the, mythological status. But Corbin does win, winning his first world title. This makes up for his Money in the Bank loss that John Cena did cause him. So now we have Universal Champion Constable Corbin Corbin. Currently, LeBron Strowman is our Money in the Bank winner. So this sets up a triple threat match at our next pay-per-view, where we have Braun Strowman versus Roman Reigns versus Baron Corbin for the Universal Championship. At this pay-per-view in real life, this is the one where Braun and Roman have the Hell in a Cell match. Brock interrupts. I wanted to keep that flavor. So as you know, triple threat matches are no DQ. So Brock is well within his rights to pull up. He interrupts the match, and then it ends in a no contest, which setting up at our next premium live event, the Super Showdown in Australia, a fatal four-way match for the WWE Universal title. Brock Lesnar, Braun Strowman, Roman Reigns, and your Universal Champion, Constable Corbin. I'm talking moving graphics. I'm talking kangaroos, Sydney Opera House. We're doing it. Brock wins, of course. And then your next, which I loved about this run too, is that all the pay-per-views are like Crown Jewel and Super Showdown, where like the main event was Brothers of Destruction versus DX. So like, how really unreasonable is it to think that this match would happen? Like, really? You saw Kane and Shawn Michaels wrestle. How unreasonable is it to think that Baron Corbin was also championship during this run? It feels like it could have happened. But then at Crown Jewel, you have Brock defeat Braun for the title. And this is actually when in real life, Roman had vacated the championship, for his first run. Not first run, but you know what I'm saying? Because he was sick. And so that actually happened as well, as that Brock and Braun face. So it kind of gets right back into real life. This timeline isn't that too far off, but I do think, I love a short title run. I've given titles to the likes of Big Show, Rikishi, and Constable Corbin on this show. So, I'm just trying to more gold is better. I mean, as you can see from my photo here, it's Kurt Angle with all the gold. I just love a championship run. I love a win.
That's a real Corbin becoming GM and then making Roman do a gauntlet match, and then that actually is real. That's real. He would do that.
He did that. I was like, in September he booked himself against Roman, like right after Hell in a Cell. Like that's what he did. Like he just wasn't successful at it. But I just feel like we haven't had, kind of to your point of Roman, we haven't had a heel who's on top who also can make decisions the way that Roman can now. Like where Roman's like, I'm not gonna face this guy, and Adam Pearce is like, well, I guess it's not facing that guy. So I think it'll be cool too to see your Universal Champion actually be the GM and have people come to him in his office. He has the title and be like, I want to face you. And be like, well, no, I don't want to book that match. I want to do something else. I think that.
And think about it, somebody will come and make a case to why they're gonna face them, or if they step to him on some crazy shit, it's I'm gonna take that title from you, and it's just are you now? And it's you know what, you probably could take this title from me. But you're probably not gonna.
I'm not gonna let you.
Because you got a match with.
I would love to. You'd have him wrestle, and then you'd have wrestlers coming out to him after the match, hey, I want a match now. It's bro, I'm tired. Leave me alone. I feel like Baron Corbin is very good at the entertainment acting character part of wrestling too. So I think he could really play into this whole, I'm a champion and I'm the GM and I'm kind of too stressed. You guys are stressing me out. Now I gotta do a Brock Lesnar. I gotta do all this stuff. And it's just the comedy that could come of him. It'd be funny if he was he just forgets about a match. If somebody asks for a match, he just doesn't do it. And so this match just he announced it and they never come out because Baron Corbin never told him. Stuff like that I think could be really funny.
He calls a no contest mid-match.
Yeah, he's just end it. We gotta, or he's hey, Ross says this match has to be done now because Roman got to wrestle. So you guys have to wrap this up. Him coming out mid-match and doing that would be so funny. He's hey, yo, stop. This match got to be done. He's actually booking the shows with the headset on and the Universal title. I'm into it. I know Armand's not. I'm into it. Yeah, he's a gorilla.
Usually sits.
He's a gorilla. You see the vision. This is hilarious.
You both really disgust me. You both can. I'm not gonna. Yeah, this is gross. CC, you have Adam Pearce here.
So mine's not one from the past or anything crazy or anything like that, but we are going to walk it out back a little bit. So starting in 2020, a guy who was the former, I think, NWA champion, if I'm not mistaken, who was the first indie contract person to produce a WWE pay-per-view, a guy we all know and love, who gets into hairy situations, except for when it comes to the top of his head. Adam Pearce becomes the on-screen WWE authority figure on both Raw and SmackDown. Now, here's the important part. He is the WWE authority figure on both Raw and SmackDown. If you've listened to this podcast in the past, you know, and you've paid attention, you know how much I love the late 90s and all the crazy shit that Vince was doing, and just how much I love for the authority figures to be involved in what's going on in wrestling. One thing that I noticed about Adam Pearce is like, he's on TV, he's making matches, he's at contract signings. Sometimes he gets into it with people, but if you really look at his character, he's like a passive, like,
yes,
like he's just there. You know what he is? He's there to be a face to the decisions that are being made. Yeah. That's what he is. And I'm like, nah, I don't like that shit. So here's how we're gonna go. So here's how we're gonna go. So everything that happens when he like first joins, you know, all that crazy stuff, that still happens. And the most important stuff that happens is the stuff, you know, how he has smoke with Roman or whatever. I think Roman beat his ass twice, if I'm not mistaken. And then, you know, Pearce had KO come into that situation or whatever. He got Shane made him get crash dummy just because he wanted to call Braun stupid. and then you know, Brock beat his ass. So that happened or whatever, all on camera. The crazy thing is like, I think about all that. Like when you put all that together in, you know, a few sentences following each other, I think the next logical step you go is like, damn, wouldn't this guy be like fed up with these people and, you know, stuff like that? Well, my story, Adam Pearce Harris.
Yes.
He is not just gonna take this. He's not just going to take this and just keep being a WWE official and just like, Vince, you know, Mr. McMahon said this and I'm going to go do that and blah, blah. Nah, hell no. Pearce is like, y'all whoop my ass? Got something for you. Pearce goes heel or whatever, but he still gets his ass beat. That's my rewrite. So here's the rewrite. So like after he gets crash dummy by like Braun, I think he's out for like, he's not on TV for like 1 or 2 weeks, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember exactly how it went. After Brock beat his ass or whatever. And then like he comes back or whatever. And also during his reign, Sonya's not involved at all. She's never an official at during his reign for me. Because I want him the way he works, you'll see where I go with this. So Adam Pearce, you know, he comes back or whatever, and they have the camera on him, and you know, he's just sitting there or whatever, and he looks contemplative, like he's thinking about something or whatever, and you think it's, you know, just like the regular Adam Pearce or whatever, and then, you know, he kind of sighs, and then he goes, you know what, go ahead and do it or whatever. That's what we'll go with, and you'll think he's just making like kind of like a tough decision or whatever, but you don't really know what it is. This is during a Raw taping, so he, you know, he says that or whatever. And then there's a main event going on. Doesn't really matter who's in the main event. Doesn't really matter. But he has his, all you see is the lights go off during the main event. Then the lights come on, and Damian Priest, Apollo Crews, Bobby Roode, and T-Bar are outside of the ring. And you're like, what's going on here? And then they just interrupt the main event. Honestly, it doesn't matter who the main event is. After they interrupt the main event, Adam Pearce comes out, and by the look on his face, you're thinking that he's going to be like, wait, you know, this is not how it's supposed to go. I'm going to call this match the right way. We're going to have so-and-so happen, blah, blah. And, you know, he kind of speaks to that in a way. You know, he's like, this is not how things were supposed to go. This is not how it was supposed to be initially set up or whatever. And everybody in the ring, the 4 people I named who just beat the 2 main people ass or whatever, is like looking at Adam Pearce or whatever. And then he kind of like turns and smiles, and he goes, more. And then they start whooping their ass even more or whatever. And then he comes to the ring or whatever, and he announces, this is officially the Adam Pearce era. And you're like, what the hell is going on? So you got like Roman, who's the Universal Champion. I forget who's the Raw champion at this time, but they're still the champion. This is like right now we're in, hold on a second. We are in 2021. We're in like late
Drew, Miz, then Bobby in early 2021.
Yeah. So we're in late 2021 now. So we're right around November. This is all happening. And you're like, what the hell is going on or whatever. Next week, you see Adam Pearce is just Adam Pearce is in his locker room. He's got models, you know, he's got the 4 guys that I just named. They're in his locker room, you know, he's got a new big screen TV. He's kicked back. He's wearing casual clothes and he's just chilling, living the good life or whatever. And then a referee like comes in and he like asks, you know, he's asking Adam like, hey, you know, am I still going to be reffing that match tonight? And he goes, yeah, in fact, go out there because we're going to start it right now. And, you know, what he does is he sends the ref out to the ring. So you see the ref going out to the ring. The announcer is like, now we will be starting our gauntlet match or whatever. And then all of a sudden, you hear KO's music, but KO doesn't come out for a while. And then it cuts to a camera on KO in the back. And he's like listening to his music. And he's like, what's going on or whatever. And then like, he's kind of in the locker room. Adam Pearce and his posse roll up or whatever. Again, let me remind you who's in Adam Pearce's posse. Damian Priest, Apollo Crews, Bobby Roode, and T-Bar or whatever. And
what a strange group of guys, man. What a WrestleMania Intercontinental title ladder match group of men.
Bro, that's the Andre the Giant battle royal.
Yeah, that's the Andre the Giant.
Come on.
So what a pre-show number 1 contenders match group of people I've ever seen in my entire life.
So he's like, so they roll up in KO's locker room and they're like, you know, they're just like looking intimidating. They don't say anything for a while. And he's like, Adam, I don't understand. Like, what's going on? My music's playing. And do I have a match right now? And he's like, you could say that. And then he's like, you better get out there. So like, you know, Kevin eventually goes out there and he's walking out. And like, we've seen this a few times where wrestlers are like walking out and they're kind of like looking like, I don't know why I'm out here, but I guess I'm out here or whatever. And then the ring announcer announces or whatever, announcing your first contestant, Kevin Owens or whatever. And then the referee kind of like talks to the ring announcer and they go, and they kind of make a face where it's like, oh yeah, you're right. And what they say is this will be a gauntlet match or whatever. So Adam Pearce like comes out or whatever before they announce who he's going to face or whatever. And Adam Pearce is like, you couldn't get the job done. You let Roman, you know, whoop my ass and do blah, 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 blah. And that's the reason why, blah, blah. So like Adam Pearce is just blaming all of his like bad things on like other wrestlers and shit like that, whatever. But he's also got wrestlers to beat those wrestlers up. So then he has KO go through the gauntlet with all the people that are in his posse or whatever, maybe plus one more or whatever. And then like Kevin wins, but they still beat his ass. And then basically what happens is like Adam Pearce is just running this gang on Raw and SmackDown, and he adds Zelina Vega, Angel Garza, Jinder, and Mace to this. So between Raw and SmackDown, he's got all these people in his stable to do his bidding and whoop people's asses whenever he needs to or whatever. And essentially what Adam Pearce does is he goes through, and for all the slights he was taking in 2020 to 2021, he has his crew go back and whoop people's asses. And all of this is happening, and you see him, and you see like every once in a while, like every 2 weeks or whatever, like one of them will ask, like one of the people in his stable will ask like, hey, boss, is it ready yet? And he's like, not yet, or whatever. And there's just like, you're wondering what he was referring to. And what he's referring to is like his grand plan to get the title off of Roman or whatever. So it's funny because Roman's like kind of like a heel champion, but you also got like this heel GM at the same time. And the reason why Adam Pearce doesn't immediately go after Roman is because Roman's just too huge at this point. But also at the same time, Adam Pearce wants to make sure that he really gets that title off of Roman. So instead of having Jimmy come back and challenge Roman, what happens is Adam Pearce like sets up something to where like he gets Roman to like show up for the show or whatever, and tells him not only will you be defending that title and that title will be coming off of you soon, but you will be defending that title right now in a fatal 5-way against like 4 people from his stable and like Roman or whatever. And Adam Pearce is like, he's like, he's kind of talking down on people in his stable. He's like, I don't care which one of those losers gets the title as long as you don't have it or whatever. So like Roman is like, kind of kicking ass, but also kind of getting his ass beat or whatever a little bit, only because he gets jumped from there from time to time, but he's pretty much kicking everybody's ass. And that's why I specifically had these people in the stable, because you need to have people who you can have like Roman just whoop their ass and it's just like, okay, it's fine or whatever. But you never believe they're really going to take the title off of him. But at one point, it looks like Apollo Crews is really going to get this title off him because he's about to pin him at some point or whatever. And in comes Jimmy. And this is where the bloodline really starts. Like Jay and Jimmy both come in, they break it up. Roman ends up winning or whatever. Adam Pearce has to take his ball and go home or whatever. And Adam Pearce, you kind of don't see him off TV for a while. Roman still dominates. But yeah, I just wanted Pearce to get a run where he's just like, no, you know what? Y'all niggas beat my ass. I'm going to have somebody beat your ass or whatever too. And the crazy thing is like he just switches favorites from now on. I mean, from now and then, like, he'll have like one wrestler. He's like, nah, you know what? I'm going to have you win the Intercontinental Champion. I'm going to set up this stipulation and you get to go against this person. And then like midway through the match, after he sees the person's getting his ass beat or whatever, he just makes it a triple threat with one of his goons or whatever. And then one of his goons ends up winning the Intercontinental Championship. It's T-Bar, by the way. But yeah, that's my rewrite.
Okay. A more tough Adam Pearce. That would have been
the very like McMahon child storyline. Like I feel like Steph or Shane would get this storyline too. Like, y'all aren't respecting me. Like I'm gonna get some guys to show you.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's a tale of time.
It's quite interesting that you all say this because my rewrite plays into a McMahon-like storyline. So for those who were watching wrestling in 2008, there was a general manager by the name of Mike Adamle. You might have previously seen him as an interviewer on Raw. He did play-by-play commentary on ECW. And in July of 2008, he was appointed the Monday Night Raw general manager by the executive, Shane McMahon. Mike Adamle's time in the WWE was a very short time. He was finished being general manager by October 2008. So a little under 3 months of a general manager run. But in that time, he introduced something groundbreaking called Adamle Originals, high-profile matches that weren't really all that high-profile, but because he called them Adamle Originals, they hit. Josh Matthews likened him to a dyslexic 6-year-old reading in front of a classroom, and that's because he made a lot of mistakes on commentary and in his interviews. He called Jeff Hardy Jeff Harvey. He pronounced Barbaric Bubarik. He called the WWE title the WEDM Championship. He called Taz the Taz, and he called Jimmy Wang Yang Jimmy Yang Yang. And he ultimately quit the general manager role in October 2008 due to an on-screen scuffle with Randy Orton. Now, in my rewrite, everything happens the same. He makes a lot of mistakes on commentary as a general manager. He's like booking matches and saying they're championship matches, but they're not really championship matches. And the championship scramble question that I had plays into this time because during the time Adamle was general manager, the championship scramble happened. Now, that night at Unforgiven 2008, Randy Orton, Ted DiBiase, Cody Rhodes, and one of the other Usos or members of the Anoa'i family attacked CM Punk. Randy Orton Punk kicked him, and CM Punk could not defend his title. So Chris Jericho ended up winning the World Heavyweight Championship in the Raw Championship Scramble at Unforgiven 2008. Now, the very next night, a bunch of superstars come into Mike Adamle's office, and they're like, how can you let this happen? You letting Randy Orton and his guys run around like they're Pac, like, yo, what's going on? Like, this is crazy. Adamle's like, honestly, I don't really care too much about this job. I don't really care too much about you guys. I'm here for the money. Like, I be mistaking people's names because I don't read the contracts. I don't read anything. I just, I just kind of book the matches, or I let people tell me what matches I should book. I'm here for the check. But since you all are pressing me, he puts like Rey Mysterio into like a 1-on-3 handicap match. He puts CM Punk into a handicap match. He puts a bunch of the baby faces who are complaining about what's going on into different matches at a point in time. And he aligns himself with Chris Jericho, the new World Heavyweight Champion, and Lance Cade. Now, in October was when he had the scuffle with Randy Orton. So you fast forward there, and the very next week after he slapped Randy Orton, he's in the ring with Shane McMahon and Randy Orton, and he says he's going to resign. He actually resigns. In my rewrite, he pretend resigns, and then he beats up Shane McMahon with Randy Orton. By this time, Randy Orton is part of the legacy, and Mike Adamle's like, I'm this rich guy who runs Raw. I'm corporate. We're going to create the corporate legacy. So the corporate legacy is made up of Mike Adamle, Chris Jericho, Lance Cade, Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes, and Ted DiBiase. It's a bunch of like third generation superstars or super rich superstars, people that have been around for a while. And so they just run roughshod over the E for like months. This is obviously leading into the Royal Rumble and like WrestleMania. And so at the Royal Rumble, all of the wrestlers within that faction, Jericho, Lance Cade, because Jericho lost the world title by this point to John Cena, and Randy Orton won the 2009 Royal Rumble to then face Triple H at WrestleMania 25. So they're all in the Rumble together, going crazy, throwing people out. Shane comes out. Vince McMahon comes out. Triple H comes out. And so it becomes a corporate legacy versus McMahon's feud. And this leads them all the way to WrestleMania. Mike Adamle even gets in the ring himself. The McMahons recruit some other wrestlers. This is WrestleMania 25. Who did Batista face at WrestleMania 25? I don't remember. We're just going to put Batista in the match. We're going to put CM Punk in the match because CM Punk got wronged by Randy Orton. And John Cena had a title match, so not John Cena. Who else can we throw in this match? Kofi Kingston. Kofi Kingston in the match too. Kofi Kingston. So it's corporate legacy versus the McMahons and Batista and CM Punk and Kofi Kingston. Because CM Punk and Kofi started tag teaming together too, actually. Corporate legacy wins. And then they kind of run WWE like the Authority did. And the McMahons are trying everything. They're trying contracts. They're doing matches. They're doing a bunch of different things. So Mike Adamle essentially becomes what Trump would have been if Trump had control of Raw for like longer. And ultimately it ends with a one-on-one match, Mike Adamle versus Vince McMahon at SummerSlam of the following year. And the match is for control over Raw. And Vince McMahon ends up winning that match. And Mike Adamle is kicked out, but he essentially becomes like a mob boss. And like the fact that Shane McMahon hires him, and then he turns on Shane and aligns himself with Randy Orton, who was terrorizing the McMahon family. And so it just becomes this whole thing where like the McMahon family's past is looking them in the face because they were the corporation at one point and they were running the shows like tyrants, and then they have to face that themselves and figure it out. And through that, the family grows closer together. And Triple H finally he had aligned himself with the McMahons in a certain way, but this is when he like really starts to be embraced as like one of the McMahons, one of the executives. And this is like towards the end of his run anyway. So
I was gonna say, I think it would be a fly little storyline if like there's this tension where Randy's like, "Hey, bro, like come over here, like you're not really a McMahon or whatever," and then Stephanie's like, "No, like you're a McMahon," and then like what it ends is kind of like with the Alliance versus WWE, where Triple H ends up like deciding to stick with the McMahons and like fully be bought in, kind of like in Succession, where he's like, "No, like I'm down, like I'm really down," and he like wins the match for them, and then it's like he said, like I'm cemented as a McMahon, like I sacrificed my relationship with Randy and these Evolution guys for you. I think that'd be fly too.
Yeah, 100%. But
I'm fucking with this rewrite heavy. That's hard.
No, because it's so funny. Like Adamle he was so goofy, bro. Like, and I remember this time so vividly. This was like summer 2008. I was just going into 2008 was my 8th grade year. Yeah, because
I was in high school.
8th grade. Yeah. So I was going into 8th grade, and like CM Punk had just cashed in on Edge. So I was super hyped. I was like, yo, this is lit. And then Mike Adamle, I remember him because I was watching ECW at this time, or what was left of ECW at this time. I was like, oh shit, Adamle's cool. And then he was gone so soon. I was like, wait, what? And like, he wasn't a great GM anyways, but I'm just like, nah, man, I think you could have gotten a lot more out of this. And, it turns out he requested his release from the WWE. They didn't fire him. So, whatever was going on with him, he wasn't with the shits no more, but I thought they could have got more out of that. So
On his Wikipedia, it looks like he went back to announcing. So I think that's what
He's done a bunch of different. I didn't know he was a former NFL player. Like he played in the NFL for 6 years. I did not know that because as an older dude, he just looks so small.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Yo, I think that storyline of somebody being like, because the reason why that resonated with me a lot is because it just reminded me of a lot of middle management that I've had to work for, where it's just like, you are just here collecting a check.
Yeah. You gotta fully lean into that. Yeah, because Vince was seen as that for a while too. So you just fully lean into that, and you have Vince deal with someone who's like just as maniacal as him, and like, you know, like Shane has to look his privilege in the face and all that. Like, it's just, there's so many different psychological things you could play off of.
I like that.
Yeah.
They've got to humble themselves.
That is our rewrite, ladies and gentlemen. It's great to be back with you all. We will be finishing up season 3 through the summer. So you can tap into our Patreon. Make sure you check out the A Show. Make sure you check out the War Report. Make sure you check out Spot Callers. Make sure you check out everything that we have on the A Show Patreon. Make sure you check out everything on RNC. Make sure you stream CC's new single. What is it? Well, 101 is called? One of one. Make sure you stream 1 of 1. And yeah, that's really all we got for now. So we'll be back with you soon. We are the men with the pen.